Welcome to the Angel Mystic Podcast. I am super excited you are listening because this is where spiritually open minds can come together to explore the wonders of angels, spiritual connections, and the art of manifesting. Hosted by me, Amanda Tooke, the Angel Mystic, your spiritual midwife to help you on your journey to a fulfilling and happy life. You may have seen me on ITV, Channel 4, or even in Fate and Fortune magazine. In each episode, we will delve into the mystical world of angels, offering you insights, guidance, practical tools to deepen your connection with the upstairs so that you can find inner peace, happiness, joy, and create the life that you want. Tune in for weekly, fun conversations, transformational insights that will elevate your spiritual journey and awaken your inner mystic. Please hit subscribe now as we embark on a transformational adventure with the Angel Mystic Podcast. Before we delve into the podcast, I just wanted to remind you that there is the live angel card training happening on the 13th of June. If you're wanting a place, you need to be quick because it is nearly sold out. It's just £33 and it's cheaper than any other reading you could possibly have. But it's going to give you tools so you can read cards for yourself or for other people. And angel cards are a great way of getting guidance direct from your angels. I never want you to feel like you need to book a reading. I want you to always know that you can get messages from your angels whenever you need it. I'm sharing so many secrets in this training, so check it out. It's in the show notes. And Angel Summer School is coming back. That is starting on the 15th of July, where we're going to be spending 6 weeks in a little angelic bubble. So if that is something that you want to do, where you can, get deeper connections with your angels, you can learn to connect with them daily. You can learn about angel dates. You can connect with the archangels too. It covers everything you need to know about angels in a little 6-week intensive training, all happening on Zoom. If that is something that you want to find more about, just go and check it out in the show notes. And finally, there is a live free training coming up on the 17th of June, which is going to help you advance your spiritual connections. I'm just giving you the heads up on that now so that you can reserve some time to go to the next level with your spiritual development. Let's do the podcast. Welcome back to the Angel Mystic Podcast. Today's podcast is all about the art of reading angel cards. And before we delve into that, I do want to say that next week we have a full training on how you can do this. It's an intensive training. It is a paid for training, but it will enable you to get to the true messages that lie in angel cards. And you could maybe even start a business from that, a side hustle. So that's something that you want to do. Go and check out the show notes and book yourself a place. So, the art of reading angel cards. I thought I would start this show by talking about my journey with angel cards. Now, it started actually before I even got my first hands on my first deck of cards, with a real interest of wanting to connect deeper with my angels. And that's what angel cards do. They are a tool to help you connect with your angels and receive really valuable messages that can change your life. Now, my first deck of cards weren't actually angel ones. They were tarot. Ironically, they were the angel tarot. And I bought them as a teenager because I've always been into this sort of stuff, always been spiritual. I remember going into the local town, into this mystical shop, which I felt like I was sort of breaking all the rules, even just going in that shop, filled with loads of things that were just catching my eye and sort of exciting me. And there was a few different decks of cards, and I was just naturally drawn to this angel deck, even though I've got to say the colours felt really dark and not at all what I'm about. I love bright colours, as you probably know. But I bought this deck of cards and I brought them home, and I felt really naughty bringing them into the house, and I hid them in my bedroom and kept them hidden. Nobody knew I had them. I actually bought a pendulum at the first then as well. Actually, my first pendulum. I had these two sort of bits of kit for my spiritual adventures, and keeping them hidden, bringing them out occasionally and spreading them all out with absolute wonder, thinking what they all meant and feeling so overwhelmed because there's all the different, the suits, and then there's the major arcana, massive of images, and oh my goodness, there's so many cards in a tarot deck. It all felt a bit much, if I'm totally honest. And I kept wondering what they all meant. And of course, there is a little instruction booklet that comes with it. So I had a read through that and was trying to pull cards and follow the different spreads that you can do. And there was something just not clicking for me. I dabbled and honestly got some bits of messages and picked it up to a certain degree, but it was something just not clicking. It wasn't just like really lighting me up. They felt good, but I felt really held back, like there was something not quite right about them. So they were sort of popped in a cupboard for some years until I discovered angel cards. And angel cards, wow, just felt so much better to me. They felt lighter. They felt more flowing, more free. And it was wonderful because you could use your intuition more with them than I'd ever been able to use with my tarot deck. I mean, this is just my personal journey with this. Yours might be totally different. You might absolutely love tarot. But for me, it was just a real start of a bit of an addiction, if I'm honest, because they are very addictive. And I have many, many decks now. Occasionally I clear them out and give some away, but I seem to just end up buying more as well. So I love the fact that I didn't need to worry about getting it right, which really helped with my perfectionism issues. And I could just pull a card a day or do a mini spread. And it really helped in my connections to my angels. It really helped, using that as a tool for communication. So asking a question and pulling a card and tuning into the card and seeing what the message really meant really helped me build better connections with my angels. And that's essentially what angel cards are. They are a tool. They are a tool for you to receive guidance. They're a communication channel, really. And I started having quite a few different decks. And always, you always have your favorite, don't you? My favorite were actually, I think they're called healing cards with they were Doreen Virtue ones. I still have them somewhere, but I don't use them anymore. And I like them because they were very simple words and there was just a picture on them. And I felt like I could sort of like look into the picture and get deeper messages, because angel cards are not all about picking a card, looking it up in the book, taking that message as golden, and that is it. If you're doing that, you're missing a few tricks. Angel cards are a starting place for you to go deeper into a specific message. So I had like a few decks, and when I opened my business, which initially was a shop in Windermere, and I used to sell angel cards, I noticed something interesting that started to happen. So people would come in and they go, "Oh, I want a new deck of cards," and they'd all be displayed on the shelf, and they'd pick one up and they'd look at them all, and then they'd look at all the others and they'd hum and ha. They always bought the first deck. It was like the deck was picking them. It was like the deck was jumping off the shelf going, "Pick me." They always bought the first deck that they picked up. And of course, my collection started to build, but I hadn't at that point created my own cards. I was still using other people's cards. And I can remember, one day doing my little readings in my shop, using a deck that I'd used for years and years and years, and using them intuitively. Each time I would shuffle, I may shuffle them differently depending who I was working with, or I'd do a different spread, or I'd maybe get them to shuffle them, or I'd cut the cards differently, always using my intuition and never using the book. And one day this lady picked a card and I looked at it and thought, I've used these cards for years. Why have I never seen this? It looked like a volcano. Why have I never seen this volcano on this card before? And I said to her, it was at a time when all flights were suspended because of a volcano had erupted and affected the air traffic. And I said to her, are you in Windermere because you couldn't go away on a plane? And she went, yes. But I'd never seen that volcano in that card, because obviously cards sometimes have quite sort of intricate images that you can sort of, focus in on one bit or look at the whole picture. But I'd never seen this volcano till then. And it just really proved to me at that point of how valuable angel cards are in this way of communicating with your angels. They are so helpful in you being able to get really accurate messages, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for other people. And I love how easy it is, how anyone can do this. It's just like really, really easy. Really easy. You're going to have to trust 100%. You are going to have to trust what you are getting, what you're picking up, what you're receiving. But honestly, anyone can do this. So if you've got a deck of angel cards, throw away the book that comes with them. If you've got my deck, don't use the book. Use your intuition. Use your intuition to pick the right deck of cards, the ones that you need to be working with at that time. I have various different decks. If I'm reading for other people, I always use my own cards. If I'm reading for myself, I have other decks of cards, just because I get better messages that way. So use your intuition to what is the right deck. And then start maybe picking one card a day and asking your angel before you even put your hand on the deck, what do I need to know today? Maybe pick your cards with your less dominant hand if that feels good for you. There's so much that you can be doing with a deck of cards, whether you're doing daily cards, weekly cards, monthly cards, specific ones. My deck even have a yes and a no in them, so you can get a very specific answer. And just trust 100% your intuition as you are using them as a tool to get guidance from your angels, because that's really all it is. Now, I'd been using other people's decks for many years, doing my readings, and the upstairs kept saying to me, you need to create your own deck. You need to create your own deck. And I was like, well, that's all very well, but I've got no idea how to do that. No idea at all. And as many things used to, they don't so much now, but they really used to channel through me in the middle of the night. So I get woken in the night and could not go back to sleep, and felt this need to either meditate or journal. So I'd grab my journal and I started channeling my deck of cards. So I got all this information of the name of the card, what colours needed to be on the card, how the image should look, what words needed to be on the card. And I kept gathering night after night all these different cards together, thinking, how many more are going to come through? When we got about 20 cards in, I had a conversation with someone who said, oh, I can create those for you, just out the blue. Now, this lady wasn't even local. She was actually in Australia and I live in the UK. So we had to work over, well, it wasn't Zoom then, it was Skype. We had to work over Skype and fathom it all out. And it worked so easy. And this is how you know if things are right, is when it flows with ease. And then the rest of the cards came and we got to 42 and they stopped. And they went, that's how many you need, 42, which is an unusual amount compared to other decks of cards. But you've got to trust and go with it. There must have been all the angels wanted. And these cards were created and they've been in production ever since. And people love them, particularly made them small so they fit in your hand, because I have really small hands and I can't shuffle those big cards very easily. but these are really, really easy to shuffle. They're incredibly accurate. Even people that have never used cards before get really accurate messages direct from their angels. And because they're so small, you can keep them in your bag. And I always say, as all good psychics, we never leave home without a deck of cards. I always have a pendulum. I always have a deck of cards in my bag. You never know when you're going to need some guidance, or somebody else needs some guidance, and you need your tools with you, because that's essentially all they are. Of course, if you want a deck of cards, you can go over onto my website, theangelmystic.co.uk, and get yourself a pack. I do ship them internationally, but postage abroad sometimes can be quite hefty depending where you live. But they are, just like other cards. If you're drawn to other cards, use other cards. Use what feels right for you, but use them as a tool, and know that every single person could pick the same card, but if you're reading them correctly, you won't all get the same message. The card, the words, the image that you initially look at is a starting place. You need to go deeper than that to be able to fully get the true message that was intended for you direct from your angels. So if you want to learn more about that, come and join us next week. I promise you the training will be simple. It will be easy and fun, because that is everything that I do. And you never know where it can lead you. Initially this was a hobby for me, and I adore doing what I'm doing. I've been doing it now for 15 years. I love this. And it still blows me away of some of the readings that I have done. I can remember when I was still doing readings at home, and a lady had booked, and she came, and I said, "Oh, have you come far?" And she went, "From London. I live in the north of England." And I was like, "Are you on holiday or something?" She went, "No, I've just come for a reading." I mean, times have moved on so much that it all can be on Zoom these days. But I can remember the very first reading I did on Skype. And my friend, who's also spiritual, had said to me, "You need to be doing your readings online." I'm going, "Oh no, I can't connect that way. No way. There's no way I can connect. I need that person in the room. I might even need to hold their hand so I can tune in and get a better connection." She says, "No, you don't." I really sort of pulled back on that for months and said, no, I need to be in person. Until eventually I thought, "Do you know what, maybe she's onto something." And I did my very first Skype reading back then. And I was petrified. I was petrified of the technology, let alone could I connect? What if I couldn't connect in? Oh my goodness. All of that was going through my head. And I did this reading for a lady, the lady that ended up creating the cards for me over in Australia. And she went, "Oh, that was great. I loved it. It was really brilliant. What can I do in return for you?" And I went, "Nothing." She said, "I'm doing something. I'm going to create your new logo." And that's where my little angel logo was created from my very first online reading. So anything is possible when you lean into the support of your angels, when you start using them as they are intended to make your life easier. And angel cards are just a great tool so that you can have a better connection. Until next time, bye for now. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If so, please hit follow and share my message by sharing with your friends. It would be amazing if you can leave a review. All this will help, and it activates the universal law of the more you give, the more you receive. So it's a win-win. You can find more good stuff between episodes over on social media. Just search The Angel Mystic on Facebook, Instagram or TikTok, or check out the links in the show notes. I'd love for you to connect more over in my free group in Abundance Manifesting, all on Facebook. Hope to see you there.